Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is Soviet Russian Bear, and today I have a guest. This person is Georgian man, but he lives in the United States right now. His name is George1998. Yeah, George Man 1998. Is that your name? Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. So we should start right now. This man is first time on my channel, so yeah, we're starting right now. So today we shall speak about since you are Georgian, let's talk about some Georgia-Russia relations.
Sure. Also, before we start, I just want to say thank you, Yuri, for bringing me on your channel. I really appreciate it. It's also good, I have a little channel. It's 30 subscribers. It's good to be on someone else's channel who is like 6,000. I appreciate it.
Okay, yeah, thank you. Thanks a lot.
So we'll talk about relationships. Before we do that, we can talk about, well, as of right now, Georgia and Russia still don't really have diplomatic ties because they were severed after 2008. They were cut off.
Yeah.
After the 2008 war. I think it was Georgia who took the relations after Russia recognized the Abkhazia and South Ossetia. And and now the governments are not as aggressive towards one another, but it's still not really that great. But overall, the people, Georgia and Russian people, have no issues with one another. There's Russian people or tourists who come to Georgia, and there's Georgians who live in Russia. Over 100,000 Georgians live in Russia. So we have no problems. Personally, it's just the governments are not that good with one another.
Yeah.
Well, I'll explain why that is. So in 2008, there was a war between. It was initially a problem with the separatists of Ossetia. Then Russia got involved. So in 2008, Georgian army under the government of Mr. Mikhail Saakashvili, he attacked the Ossetians, just attacked them unprovoked. And people believe that the Ossetians and the Georgians were having issues for a long time. So I understand why Georgians and Ossetians don't like each other. I understand that. But the problem was he was pro-NATO, he was anti-Russia. So he just attacked them, and did horrible crimes, and he killed a couple Russian peacekeepers. So the president of Russia was not Putin, it was Medvedev.
Yeah.
He put his troops and he defeated the Georgian army in 5 days. Of course, what do you expect? 5 days. So at least the war ended. But the result, Russia was angry and they recognized these territories, and Georgia was upset and they cut off relations. And a few countries recognized it as well. Venezuela, some stupid island, Nauru or something, Nauru and Nicaragua, something. That's a few countries recognize it. But as a whole, Georgia does not like that. But the reason is Georgia attacked first. People say Russians invaded Georgia. Russia didn't invade Georgia. Georgia attacked the Ossetians. And then Russia helped them. They helped them. So they helped the Ossetians. So it was they came to the aid of the Ossetians. So that's what the problem was. It was not Russia's fault. It was either Ossetian problem or Georgia problem. It was not Russia's fault per se. Russia just got involved because their peacekeepers were killed. So what you're supposed to say. And also that the government of Mikhail Saakashvili was really pro-NATO. President Bush, George W. Bush, and his friends a lot of favors. Georgia was the only non-NATO member who had the highest amount of troops in Afghanistan and Iraq. So Saakashvili was doing a lot to appease them and to get into NATO. But look what happened. You never get NATO. And same thing is the issue with Ukraine. We'll get into Ukraine later. But the same issue. Georgia will not get into NATO. It's impossible for them to get into NATO at the state they are in. Yeah. Same thing with Ukraine. So it's a pointless thing. It's pointless for Trump's Mike Pence. Mike Pence met with the Georgian prime minister. He said, "We support Georgia's right to join NATO." You don't support jack shit. But anyway.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, it's just lip service. And
absolutely. It's nothing more than just lip service.
Yeah, exactly. It's never going to get anywhere. And the new government is not as anti-aggressive. I give them that, but they're not that good. I honestly believe that Saakashvili was the worst president in our history. We only have 4. So
yeah.
He was Shevardnadze. I don't like Shevardnadze either, my own reasons, and I like the first president. He was assassinated. But the point is, Georgia has a very turbulent history for a long time. Yeah. And Georgia and Russia have for a very long time, ever since even 18th century. there was two Georgian kingdoms, but one of them joined Russia. You know, was very friendly with Russia, and then was eventually taken over as well, and became part of the Russian Empire. And we're both Orthodox Christian. We're Eastern Orthodox. Armenians are, we're both Eastern Orthodox. Armenia is a different type of Orthodox, but we are Eastern Orthodox, like Russia, Romania, and the other countries.
Yeah.
So we have a religious similarity. We don't have a racial similarity. You are Slavic people. You are Slavic people. We are Caucasian people, like Czech, Ingush, and all those other, and Armenians and Azeris and all them.
Yeah.
So racially we're not the same, but the religion we are the same. We're both Eastern Europeans, but we have a similarity. So of course we should be friends with one another instead of being friends with Santa Claus or something in the West.
Yeah. Okay. So the relations between Russia and Germany, Georgia and Georgia, between Russia and Georgia, they are not like, they're getting better, but they are not too bright right now.
Yeah.
So but this is weird. This is odd, considering that it were two Soviet soldiers, like Russian and Georgian, who installed the Soviet banner, the victory banner, over the building of the Reichstag in Berlin at the end of World War II. However, there are people who are not pleased and who dispute the results of World War II and who are World War II revisionists. So
So before we get into that, I want to mention one more thing. Recently, this is not the government, but the people, I showed you this video, you can put in the link below, that there are Georgians now who are becoming much less pro-NATO, either becoming more neutral. I was a neutral, but now I'm become, where I am. You can tell where I am right now. It's more pro. They want dialogue. There was a group of people of a Georgian party. I forget the party's name, and there were people who were marching on the street. They told this new government to resign. They said, "Resign now, resign," and that we need to have dialogue with Sukhumi, the capital of Abkhazia, and Tsival, Ossetia, and Russia, of course.
Of course,
and they speaking Russian. Georgians speak Russian too, so it's...
many Georgians still speak Russian. Well, I don't know about the millennials, I don't know about the Z generation of Georgian people living in Georgia, but the X generation and the Georgian baby boomers, they all pretty much speak Russian perfectly.
Yeah, I mean, it's a second language. They still to this day speak Russian. Most Georgians do speak Russian. It depends, but most of them do speak it Russian. At least they understand.
Well, even the Z generation and the the millennials.
Yeah, my relatives who live there speak Russian too, and they're young. They're 20 years old, right? So that important to them too. I don't, like I said, many of this. Some of them are pro-NATO, and that's the problem. When you're pro-NATO, you're going to be more speaking English ones, and then more Russian will speak Russian or something. So I can. That's pretty much the relationship in a nutshell. But with World War II revisionism, it's becoming a really major topic in the last major 5 years. This started with the creation of actually I speak to this man, Dennis Wise, who made The Greatest Story Never Told, which was like over a 6-hour documentary talking about the revisionism of World War II, seeing Adolf Hitler in a different light and everything. And it was a really well done documentary. He put a lot of hours into research, and I admire people who put their hours into this. So I have no problem with people who are doing revisionism. I respect people who are honest, and they will look into the things like the Holocaust and everything else, and they will take look into it. I respect that. When I look at what the book tells you, that's good. You need to think for yourself. That's why I think the internet is a blessing. Well, the internet, I wouldn't even know who you are. So the internet, the internet's very good. The internet is been spreading information. The internet is kind of like, it was supposed to be used to control people, but it backfired on them.
It backfired.
People like us and all kinds of other people who are talking the truth, and they don't like that. And now we have Facebook. You told me Facebook banned you. Mark Zuckerberg banned. So they're trying to cut down on freedom of speech. So I have no problem with revisionist history as long as it's fair, as long as it's not bullshit, complete lie, honest. And also, I'm open to revision of every history, even that people that don't want to acknowledge it, like Russian history or Soviet history. People don't want to have revisionism on that, but it will come in due time. I think it comes a little bit slower because World War II first, and then the Cold War happened after. So people are more into that. Times change.
Times changed. Yeah, absolutely. And you see, many people, many World War II and the Holocaust revisionists, they are some of them are so vehemently anti-Russian or Russophobic, should I say. So they are so willing to, they are so open for, say, the Holocaust revisionism, for the World War II revisionism, but they are extremely closed to revisionism of such things as Holodomor or the Russian Revolution or the Red Terror or the Stalin rise to power and Stalin purges. Still, they are extremely close to revisionism on that. It's somehow very selective and very ironic. They say, "Oh, World War II was a lie." Like every single war the U.S. was involved, the official narrative lies about. But according to them, the official narrative never lies about the Soviet history, or never lies about the Cold War, never lies about the Holodomor or the Revolution and the Russian Civil War. I think it's very selective and disingenuous and inconsistent. I mean, what in the hell makes you think that, oh, the official narrative lies on this one, but the official narrative never lies on other topic? So what? I don't know. Why such selectiveness? Why such inconsistency?
Well, before we get into that, we'll talk about the anti-Russian sentiment. Most of these are Westerners, or from Germany. Some of them are from Germany. They have relatives who fought in the war, and they say, my relatives were raped by the Mongol Russians and everything. And they say Russians are a bunch of savages. They're a bunch of apes. They're like Mongols. They're Turkic people. All slanderous stuff. And I understand, of course, the Soviets did horrible. Some of the Soviet troops did horrible things too. The populations made it. It's not just Germany. Even they raped Poles too. They were raping. To be honest, they were some of them, the Mongolian troops. That's what they did. But the thing is, the Mongolian troops had no contact with Germany. I don't know why the hell they acted this way. But there were, of course, very angry Russian troops who had to face them in the front.
Yeah.
And when people had to fight and see their family die for to starve or to get shot or to something happen to them, they get angry. But I don't justify going and killing people. No, I'm just saying that people get angry. Every side commits war crimes, and many of these people tell me the Germans never did any war crimes. It's all Holocaust bullshit. I'm not talking about the Holocaust. I'm talking about what you did to the non-Jews and Russians. They say, oh, it's Bolsheviks did this or they did this, and I'm like, of course there were instances that Bolsheviks did do terrible things to they were harsh on their population. Yeah, I agree. But in all of it, they didn't do anything. It was like they were all, like kumbaya, holding hands. They were like kissing the tree.
Of course not.
That's not what it was. If you look at the war footages, that's not what happened. You look at the footage. If pictures are photoshopped, okay, then watch the footage. Then watch the footage. Old footage, like from that time, like recorded from that time period. You can tell when it was recorded. So look at it and look at how the people received it. And they said, oh, Ukrainians. They were talking about mostly Western Ukraine. Was really happy when Germany came. Yes, I do. But there were other people who were not so happy when they came. And when the Soviets captured these troops and they paraded them in Moscow or Leningrad or whatever they were, many people were spitting at the Germans. So, and they were not Jews; they were Russian people doing that. So, it's not all that. They all love the Germans or something. It was not like that. So yeah, exactly. And we have also it's still there. Because during the Cold War, some of these National Socialists who were anti-Russia were given a free pass. Those who weren't as anti-Russian were probably fucked over.
Yeah.
Nuremberg, and recently Ernst Zundel, a few years ago, he was in jail. Remember that? Ernst Zundel and all these other put them in jail, and stuff. Old grandmothers, they put them in jail. It's horrible. It's ridiculous and horrible things they're doing. But that's unfortunately that's the way it is. If you're willing to be anti-Russia, they'll let you go. Like these Banderites, the Banderites in Ukraine. Yeah. They're essentially National Socialists, but they're kissing the ass, getting money from Soros and Jews. So it's ironic, isn't it? So yeah, that's what I pretty much have to say about that.
Yeah, it's very ironic, and it seems to me that because like the Western establishment is so anti-Russia, they let some of the National Socialists or Nazi or Hitler apologists to get away with their nationalism, because like those National Socialists who are anti-Russian and the Western globalist establishment have common enemies. Like their common enemy is Russia and Russian nationalism and Russian influence all over the world. It's sort of like in the same, like some of the people on the alt-right, although people like it are also often called alt-light. Some of white nationalists or right-wing conservatives who are also support Israel, well, because Israel is not on good terms with Muslims, so they kind of see Israelis and Jews and Zionists as allies against the Muslim, should I say, menace.
Exactly, and the Muslim world or Islam is the new communism. Essentially, that's what that is. The war during that, right during the 60s and 70s, was the fighting communism. Now we're fighting radical Islam. That's what Assad said in one of his interviews with RT, the Russian news now. He said that the enemy was first communism, now it was Saddam Hussein, and now it's me. They always have to make their own new enemies. They always have to make new enemies. And the mass media has a monopoly. You know, billions of people reach. You and me can't reach that much people, no matter how hard we try. Even if we make multiple videos a day, we can't reach as many people. We can't. It's impossible. Tentacles to do that, you know. Unfortunately, that's how they are. That's how they operate. And then people get indoctrinated with their mind, and they say, "Oh, we have to go fight for our, support the troops. Let's go into war. Let's go blow up people. Let's blow up rice farm, Vietnam and Cambodia. Let's go blow these people in the Middle East. Blow those sand niggers, that's what they say, sand, that's what they call them and stuff. It's horrible stuff, It's
it's very racist.
Yeah, exactly. And that's, I don't like to use that word often, now the leftists use it, they completely abuse that word. Racist, I believe, is the Israelis are freaking racist, they don't even know
They absolutely are. The Israelis are very racist, and Israel is essentially a state of racial apartheid. Well, there is a guy on YouTube I respect very deep. I have a very profound respect for that guy. His name is Ryan Dawson, his YouTube channel. Well, he makes excellent videos on Israel and Zionism and Middle East and the Israeli lobby in the United States, and how the United States for Middle Eastern segment of foreign policy is entirely dominated by Israel.
Exactly, they have had enough monopoly for a long time, and they still do. Look what Trump recognized the freaking Jerusalem as their capital of Israel.
Man, this was so inconsiderate on his part. Unless he has some other plan, maybe set some kind of a deal with Iran and Russia or something like that. It's very inconsiderate on his part, but I don't blame him. It's pretty much Obama even said that Jerusalem is the capital, and George W. Bush and even Bill Clinton said. All of them said that Jerusalem should be like the capital of Israel, but still, there is this myth and stereotype of like the Democrat Party as being less pro-Israel than the Republican. I think it's very bogus,
Exactly, and the Democrats are just as, it's the whole point. Someone made a good point about China. China is a one-party communist state, right? There's only one party run, no parties are allowed. But he made a good point that the Chinese Communist Party over the years has been making changes. They've been actually implementing changes, different from each administration. But the goddamn Democrats and Republicans doing the exact same thing every time. There's even a picture, it's the same thing is happening. You would think that someone who's leftist would be anti-Israel, but Obama wasn't anti-Israel. Clinton wasn't anti-Israel. They were not. It's a scam. It's a lie. And then the so-called conservatives supporting homosexuality in America. So it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make correlation sense. That's what I'm saying. That we are a free country. Yeah, it's the same thing. Only two parties can run. Only two parties can win, Democrat and Republican. And then they're the same shit. They're run by the same people. They might as well be a one-party state. America and Western Europe.
Yeah, and the party should be one party, like Demopublican or Republicrat.
Exactly. It's just hypocritical. They always criticize China. I don't like China, everything China does. I'm not supporting China. I'm just saying, it's a point that I looked at the policies. They've been changing policies with every president or prime minister, whatever the hell they have, their name, ever since Mao died. They've been changing all the time. Everything's been changing. The policies towards certain issues. But America has been not changing anything. Has not changed anything for the last, ever since they killed Kennedy, ever since Kennedy died, it's been the same thing. It's always been the same. No changes have been implemented.
Yeah.
at all. Significant change.
Yeah, and you see, the anti-Russian sentiment is very selective. I mean, when Yeltsin was president of Russia, he was like so pro-West, pro-US and pro-NATO that they didn't say anything bad about him. And when the Chechen War, I mean, the first Chechen War began, they didn't say, oh, it's like evil Russia is oppressing the brave Chechen, like freedom fighters. They pretty much, the Western media pretty much called them terrorists or separatists. But when it's Putin came to power and the second Chechen War began, then those terrorists and separatists were immediately labeled freedom fighters against the tyrannical, like Kremlin oppressive evil regime, like fucking, because Putin does not. Because Putin refuses to play ball to with the NATO. I mean, it's so incredibly selective.
Exactly. Also about Yeltsin, this is why Russians really want to go back to liberalism and all this stuff, because they remember what the hell happened in the 90s.
Yeah.
And maybe you were younger probably at that time. But in the 90s, people had no food, they had no water. It impacted all all former Soviet, not just Russia. They all poverty. They were living really well in the 60s and 70s, and then the freaking thing collapses and people are in poverty, like almost like third world countries, in Central Asia and in Russia, people, it was horrible. Many people died.
Yeah.
Many people died. There's been big migration from Russia to other countries, or from Ukraine as well. And same with Yugoslavia, when that thing collapsed, the civil wars between the Bosnians and Serbs and Croats and Serbs, pretty much everyone was fighting the Serbs. Everyone was like ganging up on Serbia, and then the freaking Clinton bombed them. The only good thing Yeltsin did was he got involved in the end, but he got involved in the end, and helped Serbia. But it made no difference. He was, the whole time he was an drunken idiot. But that's the only good thing Yeltsin did. Maybe in the end he stopped the slaughter in Yugoslavia. He finally he put his foot down. Enough of this. But yeah, Putin is not playing ball.
And the other good thing Yeltsin did, and which kind of redeems him, not redeems him entirely, but at least partially redeems him, is that Putin came to power under Yeltsin, and it was Yeltsin's idea to put Putin in power to appoint him as a prime minister. Well, I think Yeltsin has partially redeemed what he did by appointing Putin, but still, the guy was still some sort of drunken idiot, and he did so much damage to Russia that.
The damages are being felt to this day, and people are blaming Putin for this. The damage, you can't deal with damage so quickly.
Yeah.
It's very important. It's very hard to do, especially in this kind of globalized system we're living in.
Yeah.
If Putin not do what Hitler did or something, get out of everything. It's really impossible for them. So they were completely under control of oligarchs, and they still have oligarchs there. They still control. Putin is not able to. He can't fix it all at once. Unfortunately, that's how that works. And they're going to blame Putin. People on the alt-right will say, "Oh, Putin is killing Russian people." It's still like, dude, this was because of Yeltsin. This is when the population started to go down in all these countries. It's Yeltsin's fault, his policy. When after Gorbachev sold, the Soviet Union out, and they told him. This is what Bush told him. Bush's people told Gorbachev, "Oh, after we collect the Soviet Union is gone, don't worry about. We're not going to go any further than Germany." Oh yeah, they went very farther than Germany. They got Poland. They get all these 1990s, and then they start actually getting former Soviet states like freaking Baltic states, and now you had Ukraine and Georgia situation and everything, and Central Asian countries like Uzbekistan is being somewhat friendly to NATO. It's called North Atlantic Trade Negotiation. What the hell are you being friendly with countries that don't belong with that sphere? It just doesn't make sense. It's just to encircle Russia like this, encircle them, and then pile states. And so you get multiple wars. If someone attacks from here, someone attacks from here, and Russia will be like surrounded, engulfed. That's what they want. They've been attacking Russia for over 200 years, ever since the Crimean War.
Absolutely. And still, some people say that, but how is Russia exactly better than the US? Well, Russia is also like capitalist right now and imperialist. It's not even better, it's all the same. Well, I disagree with them, with those people, because there are significant difference between Russian and Western civilizations. So let's just touch them. Let's talk about them, a bit about them.
Okay, let's talk about that. That's good. That's one of the topics I want to mention here. It's the West has been, over the last 20 years, been promoting all kinds of things. Ever since the 60s, they've been promoting everything, First it was marriage. Look, if you want to marry with someone, that's your business. Russians believe that too. You have a Chinese person in Russia, you want to marry, it's your business. I'm not like these people. I'm gonna shoot you. You should be executed for marrying. So that's your business. I personally don't like it. I don't promote it. I don't really see it as a positive thing. But you want to do it, it's your problem. You let that person truly, if you truly care for that person, like you truly care. Okay, fine, whatever. I don't know.
Yeah.
Your business. But that's the first step. And then they start promoting homosexuality and feminism and abortion. And homosexuality is being legal. You can get a freaking certificate. Like, who gets a certificate? Homosexual gets a good birth certificate now, as a marriage certificate. I meant marriage certificate. When you get married, you get a certificate, right? Recently, Obama even liked the freaking White House, rainbow colors, rainbow colors. And abortions, like I said, it's another horrible thing. Like I said, there's always certain instances where I would allow it if a person was raped or some horrible situation. If you have to save the mother's life, right? Sometimes mothers die when they give birth to children. I understand. That's a rare situation. Most of the time, they're just doing it because they're irresponsible. They don't freaking protect themselves. They don't wear the correct, sexual, protective, and they have birth control. Women have birth control. They could control the situation. They don't have to kill the child. The child is not the child's fault. And if the person can't take care of the child, there's adoption. You can adopt. Someone can adopt it. There are people who don't have children. Adopt them. Adopt. Exactly. And now they're promoting. They're going to be promoting transgenderism.
Yeah.
I never heard of it. Existed before. It's some Babylonian kind of shit or something, transgender, and it makes no sense. And then promoting, there's two genders, right? Male and female.
Yeah, absolutely.
Female has two X chromosomes, right?
Yeah,
two X chromosomes. Male has X and Y. And now they're saying, this gender spectrum, there's multiple, there's like 26 shit. I'm like, what are you talking about? What are people talking about? And then, like I said, Imran Hussein made this point. I've also said they're going to be promoting all these other things. They get really bad. They're going to start promoting incest, pedophilia, bestiality. I'm honest with you. They'll do that shit. These people are evil. They're satanic. They're not just crazy. They're just evil. They're satanic. They're just wicked. They're just wicked people. The ones who rule the West. The people population is just a bunch of sheep to them. To kill and to use and to be. These SJWs are nothing but retards that these monsters use. Russia, unlike Syria and Iran, has not completely said fuck you to completely to New World Order. Not completely, I agree. But they said, no, we're not against homosexuals, but you keep it to yourself. You go to your room. That's how I feel. Go to your room. Have fun with your boyfriend or girlfriend, and then keep it away from me.
Yeah.
Keep it to no problem. And interracial marriage, they have no problem with that either. Do what you want. Just don't promote it. Just do what you want to do. Just don't show it in front of children. Just promoting this behavior, because when you're showing the TV, it becomes normalized, and people say, "Oh, I think it's normal to be homosexual." No, it's not.
It's not.
Whatever. Not. It's not natural. It's unhealthy. It's not healthy. Many of them die young. By the way, many of them die very young. Sinead McCarthy, which I don't agree with, everything's just a good point. They die very young, like in their 30s, because they have too many sexual degenerates, and they die young. And that's what you get, Don't take this kind of destructive behavior. And the Russian and the West has such disgusting chemical poisoning. I'm going to talk about that. Like they put all these kinds of GMOs and MSG and these poisonous freaking chemicals in the food, and then people. And they derive of the nutrients, right? They derive of the nutrient value. So people say, "Oh, I'm not full enough," so they eat more, and then you get fat. And people get fat. People get fat. And I'm a little chubby myself. It happens, but also you gotta exercise and eat healthy.
Yeah.
I eat fruits. You gotta eat. And people are eating the fast food culture. Eat McDonald's, Burger King, Wendy's, and then this virus is spreading to China, to Asia too, and it's spreading everywhere now to these. In Russia too, they have a lot. You have 5. You told me you have McDonald's in Russia too, right?
Yeah,
5 in your town.
Yeah.
This is spreading it everywhere, and this unhealthiness. And Russia, actually, I think it was a video on me. Dina was talking about, Russia is getting rid of Western products. No, Europeans don't even want these products. Western Europe doesn't even want American products. They don't want their disgusting chemical shit. Even Europe doesn't want it. Fucking even like England, like France or Germany, they don't want your shit no more, or Croatia or anything. But Russia was getting rid of this food. Of course they don't. It was just chemical poisoning. It's just garbage. It's just chips or like, you know, unhealthy products.
Yeah.
And no, they don't want it. We don't want your fat garbage. And they have Georgia too. It's the same thing. It's healthy food. You know, you have more healthy diet. You have much more normal kind of, you know, food you would eat.
Yeah.
They're much more nutritional value. It's far more tasteful. I mean, if you eat cheese in Georgia, or it's much more rich, much more tasty. Or even Russian food or fruits, it's far more, you feel good, you know, you're like, it's good, nutritious value, you get glucose, you know, and energy, I want to run. America, you go, shit sucks, you know, it's nothing, it's just plastic, like, you know, it doesn't, it's not good. It's not it. And also, people, I know someone from Asia, they're really healthy, right, they eat fish, they eat all this stuff. People in America don't eat fish. For whatever reason, people believe they're poisoned anyway. But whatever, the diet. Because most Americans they like deep fried, they like fried stuff.
Yeah.
You know, deep fried, you know, eat all this stuff. You know, deep fried food. You know, burgers and this, French fries, this, that. You know, I'm kind of guilty of that myself. I kind of like it because people get addicted to it. But you gotta stay away from it. Stay away.
Yeah.
Eat fruits, apples, eat bananas. I have a few bananas already, you know, in my kitchen. So it's good to eat fruits, even though they poison. They poison it here anyway, but still, they try to. Also, they make the healthier food more expensive. They make these expensive. It should be the opposite way. Junk food should be expensive, and healthy food should be not expensive.
Well,
we actually have
we still have that thing in this type in Russia. Well, McDonald's here is not that cheap. I'd rather like buy some fruits, some oranges, some apples, bananas, and I can buy like 2 kilograms of bananas for a price of one McDonald's burger.
Good. That's normal. That's how it's supposed to be, honestly. And you know, you get all these deals in American TVs. Get $9.90 for 99 cents. You can get two. You can get this. You get for $5. You can get 2 meals. I mean, I was at Burger King once. And they told me, "Do you want another burger?" I'm like, no, I don't want another fucking burger. Well, it's a deal. I don't want your fucking burger. You keep it to yourself. Just give me my burger. Give me my one burger, and I'll go on my way. But that's it. They want you to fucking eat it. You know, they want you to eat this shit. Of course, it's enforced. They want you to be fat. They want you to be unhealthy, so they can control you. And then they tell you when you get fat, oh, so you can lose weight with this program or to eat this food, and it doesn't make anything better. It makes things worse. Makes things worse, and you know, it's a deliberate campaign of poisoning. That's what they're doing. Russia's not doing that as much. Certainly not. It's nowhere near the degree of America or Canada, especially America. America's the worst example. That's why people have the stereotype of Americans are fat, obese, and unhealthy, and stupid. Everything. And that's what happened. You know, that's what these people did to America. It wasn't always like that. You know.
Mm-hmm.
It's degenerate. Like I said, they're promoting in college campuses. You know, America, you have homosexuals. I mean, I've seen them myself, and they have this gay voice. You know, like the typical gay voice. You know, like annoying. But I'm like, man, motherfucker, you know, I hate it. You know, and people have like, you know, wearing dye their hair blue and have like fucking rings in their nose and
fucking hipsters.
Dyke hair.
Hipsters.
Dyke haircut. Yeah, exactly. It's just, and I'm like, man, what the fuck? I mean, I thought you had to be smart to go to college. In college, the education. You know, people like to say Russia, even during Soviet times, had way better education than fucking America does. Way better. Way better. The people are far more smart. They're more educated. David Duke even mentioned that. Far more educated people. That's one of the good things about communism, right? They actually studied well, and plus it was free. Motherfucker, you have to pay money to be indoctrinated. If you're going to be a communist, you better make me free to indoctrinate me. It's a joke. But like, you know, if you think it's communism, you have to be free. It's not communist. Fucking, you have to pay to be indoctrinated.
Yeah.
It's fucked up. Suck you dry, make you a slave to the debt system, and make you get loans. And it's all a complicated situation. I would sit here for 5 hours talking about how fucked up the system is. But something else. But yeah, definitely Russia's doing much better in health-wise than America is. So, or Western Europe.
Well, our healthcare problems, our healthcare system also has its own problems, but still. Well, overall, I can agree with you, because when the Sochi Olympics when the Sochi Olympics were held in Russia, many of American athletes used they were pleased to use the services of Russian dentists. That kind of stands for this something.
Exactly, and also another one thing I mentioned about like America, the differences in health. I mean, there was a Japanese woman, and Japanese are tend to be really healthy people. They're very skinny, they're very healthy. Asians tend to be very healthy normally, right? Japanese especially, they eat fish, healthy food. This Japanese woman came here, it was on YouTube video, and she said she came in, she gained 20 pounds in her first year here. That's how the difference the food is. And she was not like eating garbage, but it happens because American food is deliberately made to make you heavier and make you fatter and make you sicker. So if I were to move to Japan, you probably would lose more weight. I recommend most people, I want to go to America, don't go to America. Go anywhere but America. Don't go there. The only good thing about America is maybe, the gun rights, but they're taking everything. They're taking that away too. So America is just a piece of shit. It's pretty much a messed up place. So don't come here. Go to anywhere. I'm not saying go to Russia. I'm not promoting. I'm not the what's it called brochure guy. Go to Russia, everybody. No, go somewhere else. Just don't go to America. Don't go anywhere else. Go to fucking Poland. There. Go to Finland. Just don't go to America. Please don't.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Okay. So we want. Also Ukraine. Want to talk about Ukraine?
Yeah, Ukraine. Yeah. I would like to talk about Ukraine with you. So as a word, as my let me say, I have the right of the first word because of my channel. So I think Ukraine. I still even despite all of those years, I may sometimes get angry and say otherwise, but essentially even subconsciously I know that. Ukraine and Russians are two Slavic and Orthodox brotherly nations, and we shouldn't fight. We shouldn't hate each other. And unfortunately, many people on both sides, Ukraine and Russia, hate each other, just fucking despise each other. And I have seen this on many YouTube comments and many other debates on forums, and many other people, Russian and Ukrainian people encounter, and they fucking swear at each other and attacking each other at the sea resorts of such countries as Turkey or Egypt or Tunisia, where Russian and Ukrainian tourists meet together. There were many sometimes fights between Russian and Ukrainian tourists.
Wow.
Yeah,
it's unfortunate,
Yeah, it's very unfortunate.
Because they are Slavic and they're half Orthodox, half Catholic. It's a little bit different, but they're Slavic brothers, and Kievan Rus, where Russia came from. Kievan from Kiev. That's the history. That's where it started. And this is a problem. Like I said, with Georgia, it's the same thing. With the NATO is putting their hands in the situation. But the difference is this is much worse. This is much worse than the Georgian situation. The Georgian situation happened in 5 years. Saakashvili got kicked out, and we'll talk about him in a second. We'll talk about him. He's out, and Georgia wants him to come back to Georgia. They want to prosecute him for whatever crimes he's done. He's running around in Ukraine now like a little Trotsky or something. He's running around, like a little parasite. He is hopping around, and I think he's put there. I think his friends in the West want him to implement to fuck over Poroshenko. Poroshenko, I guess, is not an anti-Russian enough.
Yeah.
To me, he's already but I guess not enough for these people. Not enough. It's not bad enough, I guess. But exactly, Ukraine situation. Okay, the Ukrainian war started around 2014, right?
Yeah.
After Donbass, and then Crimea was annexed. And Crimea is Russian. Okay, it was Russian for all. It was 1954 when that bastard Khrushchev gave it to Ukraine illegally. After Stalin, that he gave it to Ukraine. And then all of a sudden, when the Soviet fell down, it's now Ukraine. And then they wanted to get rid of Crimea so that if Ukraine became pro-NATO, Russia would have to leave Crimea, and then Russia would no longer be a naval power. It would dismantle them.
Yeah.
It would destroy them.
Absolutely.
That's exactly. And Eastern Ukraine was another situation. It was 1920s. Lenin gave it to the Ukraine. A lot of Ukrainian territory comes from Romania, comes from the Poland, comes from Russia, comes from Czech Republic or Czechoslovakia, whatever it is. Slovakia, exactly. It comes from these other countries. Ukraine was a very small country. I'd argue it was pretty much smaller than Georgia was at one point. In the 1600s, it was a very small country, very small. But then the Tsar gave them more territory, and then the Bolsheviks gave them more. But exactly, this was Russian territory. This is, in the last 100 years, it's still been 100 years. It's not 100 years yet. It's over 90 years ago. Yeah. This was Russian territory. Now it's yours? No, it's not yours. And this applies to everything. I believe that Turkey took a lot of territory from us. I would like that back. After the Soviet Union invaded Georgia, they gave a lot to Turkey, which is bullshit. But what can I do about it? Russia, unlike Georgia, is a country, so they could actually, they can actually do something. We can't do shit, but they can because they're a big country. They have power. and they were able to get Crimea back illegally. It was over 90%, over 99%, right? Wanted them, or 98, wanted to be part of Russia.
Yeah.
That's what you get. That's what happened in Eastern Ukraine. It's Russian people are there. It's not Ukrainian people. It's Russian people speaking Russian, and they want to be with Russia. It's just normally these are Russian people. These are not like Ossetians or Abkhazia are different people. They're not Russian people. They just they're a different ethnic group. They're pro-Russia, but they're not Russian. But these are actual Russian people, like legitimately Russian people. People who would who defend National Socialist Germany. Oh, we had to invade Poland because Germans were suffering. Well, that's what's happening right now in the Ukraine. It's the Russian people are suffering, and they were displaced. And after the Soviet fell down, many Russians were living outside the country. That's what Putin told one of his interviews. That after the Soviet fell down, millions of Russians were in different countries, hostile lands. And what the hell? They were, and some of the minority groups would take,
So, excuse me for interrupting you, but still, I think that was NATO's plan all along, to get Russia into World War III, because Putin will, because I think that's what they're planning. They were planning, we're gonna install our puppet government in Ukraine. They will begin to attack and to oppress Russia, to displace them, to even to genocide the Russian population of Donbass. And Putin will say, oh no, I'm not gonna tolerate that. I'm gonna send my troops and we're gonna stop that bullshit in Ukraine. Of course, imagine Putin is sending his troops, but suddenly all the Western media will say Russian aggression, Russia has invaded Ukraine for no reason, the Russian aggression, Russia must be stopped, more NATO troops in Europe, war with Russia, and that would be the plan. And some people in Russia and many Russian patriots do not understand it, that's what NATO, that's what those powers want, to get Russia involved in World War III by sending troops to Ukraine. Yeah, the cause is just to liberate, to free the Russian people from the Banderite Kiev junta oppression. But that's what NATO wants. This is a NATO ploy all along.
Exactly. That's what happened in World War II. The Germans were living in Poland after their territory was taken away from them, and then Germans were living in what was Poland, and it is Poland now, and they were being oppressed by the Polish population and Jewish population, and then Hitler said, I don't want this no more, I'm going to attack and get this part back. And it's a similar situation, not exactly the same, because they're Germans and they're Russians, but similar situation. Oppressed people in a different land are anti of that particular government and are pro West or whatever, pro Atlantic or pro UK or America, and that government had to do something. Russia has not gone full out invaded, but they're helping the separatists. They're helping them out. They're trying to help them liberate themselves. With troops, it would be a war. Yeah, right.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. Absolutely. Mm-hmm. Well, I'm glad that Putin is smart enough not to invade Ukraine and stop. Although if he did, I wouldn't exactly oppose him, because his cause would be just to stop the Russians. But the Western media doesn't give a shit, and the Western establishment doesn't give a shit about that. And people in America and in Europe who can't even find Ukraine on the map and don't know jack shit about Ukraine, of course they're gonna believe what their media are gonna tell them.
The West doesn't care. I mean, I think Imran Hussein made a good point. He said that they don't care, the satanic people who run those countries. They don't care if they get a nuclear war and they kill their population. Russia drops a nuclear weapon on fucking Germany or America or New York City and people get incinerated. They don't care, because they have their little bunkers. They're going to hide like the little bastards that they are, and people die. And that's what they get. That's what they want, I guess. And then many Russian people will be killed too. They'll be nuked, and all Ukraine will be suffering too, because a nuclear weapon does not give a shit about fucking borders. It's gonna fucking spread. It's gonna hit Georgia. It's gonna hit Armenia. It's gonna fucking destroy all the world. Turkey. Everyone's gonna be fucking incinerated. Anyone near Russia will be destroyed. It'll be everything. All buildings, everything will be destroyed. And these bombs are far more stronger than fucking what happened in Japan. You think that's bad? I mean, these new bombs are fucking horrible. Much stronger. Yeah. Much stronger.
Way much stronger. Way more strong.
Yeah. I mean, bigger. Yes, and also if you do survive, you'll be fucking in radiation. You're gonna die a painful death.
Yeah.
So it's horrible. This war would be catastrophic. People say, why are we getting into a war with the Soviet Union? Well, if you did, we would have a nuclear war. Is that what you want? You want to be nuked or something? You want to be incinerated? No. I don't want to be incinerated. I don't think anyone wants to be incinerated unless they're psychotic. Yeah. So that's pretty much what I have to say on that situation. Yeah, and that's what these people want. You know, they want war because they know they can hide. Most of them have their little bases and then they can hide. But the people don't. I don't have a fucking place to hide.
Yeah.
The best I can do is drive in a car and fucking go to Canada or something, but or go somewhere else. But motherfucker, you drop a bomb, I can't hide anymore. All I could do is run. But you can't run for so long. You know. Unfortunately, people will not even know. You know, if a bomb radius is atomic or hydrogen bomb is, I think it's called now. Huge radius. Like if you drop it on New York City, which I don't live in New York City, but I live near it, so I'll be fucking dead. If they drop it in Moscow, you'll be dead or something. So people die. People will die. You know, it's not like not like a bomb. When you drop a bomb and hits this area, no, it's gonna go and kill people. Yeah, that's what they want, I guess. People, I guess, are asking for. I hope to God that doesn't happen. But people, these end times prophecies say that. I hope that's not true, but we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. Yeah. So, you mentioned something about Saakashvili, the former president of Georgia and now the supposed leader of the new Maidan of Ukraine. So, what can you tell about him?
Well, he was before he got taken his Ukrainian citizenship. He was governor of Odessa, which is east is Odessa region, and he was taken off his citizenship by Poroshenko recently. I think a few months ago, and he has the balls to go back to Ukraine after he lost his citizenship. He goes through Poland. He comes from Poland to Ukraine. Legally, he goes there to cause uprising. This is. If I was Poroshenko, I would freaking assassinate him because this is ridiculous. You know, you are illegally entering my country, causing, not only that, you are causing uprising, trying to overthrow me, possibly kill me. I don't like Poroshenko. I hate Poroshenko. I'm making a point that, what the fuck? And they try to arrest him, and then his supporters get him out. Like, he's just running around going, we need to do something. Poroshenko is a Russian. He's too nice to Russia. Like, this bastard. And he looks like he's high. I believe he should be fucking. Poroshenko should send his ass back to Ukraine and be ruthless about it, isn't he? And back to Georgia. He should send his ass back to Georgia. And the Georgian parliament, this government he's not really pro-Russian, but hates Saakashvili, so they'll take care of him really well. They put him in jail, probably execute him, never know. We're not as nice as America is, so, maybe we'll get irritated enough. But, yeah, exactly. That's what must happen. Poroshenko must find a way, and, has to get him, and the Georgian government has to make a deal, transfer him to Georgia. That's the only way he's going to stop. Because if he doesn't go into Georgian custody, he's going to keep running around. He's going to, even if they kick him out of Ukraine, he'll be running around in Moldova or something. He'll be causing problems everywhere. So he's a virus that needs to be taken care of. Because he won't stop. I don't think he's like these people. Oh, I'm tired. I guess I lost. And he will not stop. He's crazy. He's insane. I think he's mentally insane. And he needs to be. He needs to be stopped. Yeah, that's my opinion. And also, we have what's her name? Miss, what was her name? Ukrainian name? Not Lyshenko. What was her name? Timoshenko. Yeah, she also said in 2014 or 15 that we need to drop a nuclear weapon on Russia. These psychopath people. I'm going to kill them. I'm going to kill them all. And she's Ukrainian, so you can't. It's an government. But she's friends with Saakashvili. So these psychopaths are working together, I guess, to fight with Russia. These people must be dealt with because they're threats to everyone's life, not just you or my life too. I mean, motherfucker drops a nuclear weapon, I'm dead too. So it's a global problem. This is not like 1900 when we had no nukes. All we have is guns and little ball stuff and a little bit airplanes. No, warfare has gotten very advanced since 1945. Yeah. So we have to be very. The war is no joke. There's no such thing as a good war. There's no good war. I don't believe there's such thing as a war where people die in the end. Even if they have low casualties, war is always bad. Because economy gets bad, people start suffering. It's never good. It's never good. I've tried my best. I'm not like a little tree hugger or something. Oh, no matter what, if you have to fight, you have to fight. I understand that. If you get invaded, you have to fight. Don't be like France or something. Okay, we give up. You have to fight. You have to fight.
Well, yeah, I totally understand you. Well, but some people are so pacifistic, fucking. I get this in Russia from the anti-Putin, pro-Western opposition. Russia's military spending is too high. We need to spend more on healthcare, educational infrastructure, blah 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 blah. oh yeah, motherfucker, yeah, I know you are pro-US like agent like fucking Navalny or Sobchak or fucking, you know, you want to make Russian military weaker, so it's gonna be easier for NATO, like for NATO. No, fuck you. We will spend even more.
Exactly. That's what I would say too.
Yeah.
Yeah, America spends way more money than Russia and
Yeah.
China. I mean, debt is like 20. It's another problem we're having to face. We'll talk about it next time maybe. The debt is 20 trillion fucking dollars in America. Russia less than China. Even China, bigger country, bigger population, way less. Yeah,
than America.
Smaller territory, but people, much more people, and much lower debt.
Yeah.
How the fuck is this? What's what happened? And the debt's is gonna cause a problem eventually. That's what people have been saying. Like Rand Paul, these more moderate politicians. Why I like them a lot more than fucking other like John McCain. You know, Rand Paul, I like him a lot more than McCain or something like that. But I mean, the point, like, this economy's gonna collapse. We're gonna have like a Great Depression again or something, and people are gonna be starving again. You know. And then the banks are gonna, causing these problems. You know, the Federal Reserves keep giving money on interest, and the debt is you look at the U.S. debt clock. Go on the internet, type U.S. debt clock. The fucking thing is going so fast. You can't even count how many digits it's going by second. And I'm like, man, my God, every minute's like fucking $500,000 is going up. It's so much money they're spending. So yeah, of course Russia has to. Maybe that's how they defeated the Soviet Union. Because America was able to spend more than Russia on Soviet Union on spending on military. But I'm not saying Russia needs to spend everything on military, because you got to take care of your people too. But exactly, I see your point. Yeah, but yeah, that's my opinion on that situation. Yeah, America, it's relentless. It's relentless.
Yeah.
They're right through their teeth. They tell Gaddafi, we're going to be your friend. They kill him. Saddam Hussein was your friend, no more.
Yeah.
North Korea's like, no, I'm not going to give up my nuclear weapons. That's what Putin said. Putin said, motherfuckers would rather eat grass
than give up their nuclear weapons.
And I agree with them. It's better to. I don't think it's good. Starvation is horrible. I'm not saying it's good, but I'm just saying that they don't want to end up like Libya. They saw. They're not stupid. These people they're smart.
Yeah,
don't underestimate people. So don't get fooled. The West is.
Okay. So I think it's. Do you have something else to say or no?
Nah, maybe one more thing I want to say, like, to those people who are in Ukraine or in Georgia, or any people who are or in the Baltic states especially, who are part of NATO, anti-Russia. Listen, I'm telling you this personally. I'm not going to curse at you, of course not. I'm not doing that right now. But I'm going to tell you, it would be very wise for you, especially those who are not part of NATO or part of NATO. You must be logical and realize that who has been your neighbor, who's been closest to you for all these years, who's been protecting you, or who's been with you for these years, Russia or freaking America or England, who are separated from you, territorialized, they don't even share a border with you, any border with you. You should be much more logical and care for. I'm not saying you have to, become part of Russia or something. Just be friendly, be logical, and just make normal deals. Like if I was the leader of Georgia, just hypothetically, right? That'd be nice. That would be nice. If I was the leader of Georgia, I would say, okay, we'll have dialogue with Russia.
Yeah.
We can figure. Maybe Russia could unrecognize these territories if we become anti-NATO. We're no longer anti-NATO, and you can pull out your troops from Abkhazia and Ossetia. We'll unrecognize the territories. They will have autonomy. They'll have autonomy, but they will no longer be independent states. And then Russia would say, okay. You have to think diplomacy. Diplomacy is important. You can just go like hawkish war tactics. Oh, let's go fight them. Especially if your country is fucking this small, and Russia's like the fucking biggest country on earth. It is the biggest country, bar none. If geographically wise.
Yeah.
And Baltic. Just be logical, my friends, in Russia and in these territories. Be logical, absolutely. Just for your sake. I live here, so I don't have to worry about it. But you have to be logical too. Your people will suffer for your consequences, for your actions. You have to be care. You have to care.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's all I have to.
Yeah, it's very wise words, and I hope the politicians in Georgia, in Baltic states, in Ukraine will hear this. But I don't think they are that stupid, and they understand. It's just that they are on payroll of the United States, and they are basically their puppets. And the United States, and the satanic people who rule the United States and NATO, they got those people by the balls, and they
exactly. Yeah, but I'm saying, but maybe there will be an uprising. Maybe there'll be an uprising, a true revolution. I don't believe in revolution like this bullshit revolution. I believe like that Rose Revolution, all this Orange Revolution shit. I live in a true people against these tyrannical, held-out traitors politicians, and it said, you know what, we're either going to arrest you or we're going to freaking destroy you. So step down. We take, and people can, Slavic people and Caucasian people can get very angry. We're not weak. We get angry. Cause problems. So those. Eventually they're gonna step in some fire. You're gonna get into some fiery situation.
Absolutely, yeah.
For their sake, should be trying not to make sure their population doesn't get angry. But they're trying their best. They're trying to be balanced. They don't try to try completely anger their population. They know if they make the population angry, their head's gonna be fucking chopped off or something. That's gonna happen. So, playing the game. But they're right. These Georgia and all these countries, and even many other countries are in the hands of the Westerners. Pretty much every country is in the hands of America, whether willingly or not. Iraq is now part of, unfortunately, these countries are enslaved to the U.S. So
in some way,
in some way, financially or militarily. And NATO's bases. America. How many bases does America have across the world?
700 or something like. 8.
Even during the 70s and 60s, Soviet Union bases don't even compare to America. Even at its highest point, it doesn't compare. I looked at the maps. You look it up in the maps. Soviet bases, you see, it was a decent amount during the 60s and 70s, but compared to America, it's a fucking baby. A little child compared to a grown man or something. So American Empire is very big. It's American Empire. Bigger than So that's pretty much all I have to say, Yuri. Thank you once again for inviting me. I hope to be in more in the future.
I hope there will be more. It was a pleasure to having you on my channel. You are welcomed on my channel. So I think that's it. We should end this video right now. See you next time. Cheers.
Cheers, my friend.